I'm Nate. I just got back to Columbus from Cincinnati on my bike, and if I'm happy with my bike right now after a ride from Cincinnati, it must be doing something right. So, time to update the Ultimate Commuter Bike post, starting with the bike frame. I got this frame in 2012, so about 4 years ago, and it's a steel frame. Cost me about $400 in 2012, and I recommend steel. Here's why. There's steel, aluminum, and carbon fiber. Steel and aluminum are similar in quality and price. Aluminum might be a little more expensive. Steel is comparable also in weight because they've advanced the steel. I keep hearing from shop owners, they've advanced the steel technology to the point where the aluminum has to be enough thicker that it's about the same weight. They do have some differences. Check out your local bike shop if you want to know exactly what those differences are. But I go with steel because it's the most inexpensive option, and it's very light if you get a decent bike. You get a bike at Walmart for $120, yeah, it's going to be about twice this weight. So you cut the weight in half from a Walmart bike by spending some more money. And then if you want to cut 10% of the weight off, you can spend about 4 or 5 times as much on a carbon fiber bike, and they are lighter, they're stronger, and so they're better, but they're way more expensive. And the other disadvantage to carbon fiber is you hit the side of it and it doesn't take side loads as much. So you can, steel bikes can take a beating from the side also. This is 61 centimeters. That's a measurement from, I believe, the seat to the crankset, but anyway, 61 is the size of the bike. 58 was a little small for me, 61's a little big for me, but I went with 61 just because I rode them both and it felt better to have a good sized bike under me. So that is the bike frame. Moving on to the bike seat. I consider the seat to be about the second most important thing on the bike because it connects the rider to the bike. There's only 3 spots where you touch the bike. That's the pedals, which are your feet, that's easy, and your butt, so you want that to be comfortable. I've got the SETI Flex V. I believe that's a V, not a 5. SETI Flex V seat. Got this also in 2012, so it's lasted a long time. Cost me about $35, which might sound like a lot for a seat, and I think they're about $50 now, but it's called the Have Kids Later seat, and you can see why, where the pressure is going to be and where it's not going to be, most importantly. So you're sitting on your butt, and it's comfortable, and you can wear regular shorts in it. You don't have to wear bike shorts in this seat. It's soft enough you can wear regular stuff, and when I'm riding a long way, like when I go to Cincinnati, I just wear compression shorts with it. You don't need the pads. It's a nice soft seat to ride on. Almost a regular seat. Very firm though, good enough also to go to Cincinnati, Cleveland, something like that. After the seat, we've got the tires, and why are those the next most important thing? Because that's where the bike touches the ground. Continental Cyclocross Plus. Cyclocross is it's a name for when you ride off-road, but not quite mountain bikes. Great for city riding. And these tires, the Cyclocross Plus tires, have a Teflon coating around them. 40 to 50 bucks for a tire sounds like a lot. You might be able to get them for 30 to 40, but it sounds like a lot until you're by the side of the road, 20 miles from home, changing your tire, and you definitely be willing to pay for that. And just to give you an idea of the difference, the stock tires that came on this bike, I got a flat every ride. Every 15 to 30 miles I got a flat until I got these tires, and then I got one flat per year. So they reduce flats by a lot. So if you say you spend 40 bucks and you save 40 flats, that's actually a lot. Definitely worth 40 bucks. Presta valves. Get Presta valves, and I'll show a little demonstration of Presta valves. They're not a fancy bike Presta valve. They're not a fancy bike valve. They are a way easier valve to use. The other option is Schrader valve. That's the old valve, and they don't get dirt in them. They work quicker, pump your tire up faster, and you're on the road sooner. Presta valve. The valve comes with the tube. So when you swap out your $5 tube, just get Presta valves. If you have Schrader valves already, then, just get your next tube. No big deal. Get your next tube with Presta valves. That's the tire. Next, we're moving on to the gears. And what a lot of people notice about this is that it's a single speed, and you might think that it's a fixed gear because a lot of people don't ride a single speed unless they're riding a fixed gear. but I love it. You don't have to shift gears. You're never clicking around. And if you're in Columbus, Ohio, what hill are you climbing that you need multiple gears for? So single speed, and it freewheels. So very simple. The freewheel's simple. This is the original freewheel, the original crank. I have gotten a new chain on it. And then along with that, the clip-in pedals. If you do get the single speed, you kind of do want the clip-in pedals. It helps you accelerate. And let me show you how those work. These are they're called egg beater pedals. That's the cleat on the shoe. And they clip in. I've never fallen for not being able to clip out, and these are my first clip-in pedals that I ever had. That's easy with your feet to do that. But clip in like that, you do just what you would naturally do to get out anyway. You just twist to the side and they come right out. And show you to you again. Clip in, twist to the side, come right out. We'll show you some pictures of that, how that works. And then, okay, obviously you can't wear regular shoes with these pedals, but I was at the bike shop the other day and they're expensive, so I haven't bought it yet. I'm gonna wait till these break. But they've got them now with egg beater on one side and then a flat plate on the other side. So you can just flip them around, wear regular shoes. Apparently a lot of people are wearing these for just their regular around town bike. So flat on one side, egg beater on the other side. So you can use them just like I said. You can use them 2 miles to the store in regular clothes, or flip them around and 130 miles to Cincinnati. Single speed, egg beater pedals, usually made for mountain biking, but they are great for this because they can get dirty. This is obviously a pretty worn out cleat. When you switch the cleats out, let's move on to the tool. You get your tool out, and you clean those Allen wrenches out, those Allen heads out, and unscrew that cleat, put a new cleat on, no problem. So let's talk about the tool. And I use this tool, it's about 35, 40 bucks, which sounds like a lot for a multi-tool. However, it's also essentially my toolbox because I use this. I never got actual tools because this thing works so well. So it's got so many tools. You got Allen wrenches, Phillips head screwdriver, which I've never actually used on my bike. This star thing, which I've never actually used, but most of the stuff I have used. Allen wrenches, it has a 15 millimeter wrench. That's the only thing I got extra of. I do have a 15 millimeter wrench that I carry around sometimes. There it is. The tool works in a pinch though if you need it. So it splits in two. Also, you've got a chain removing tool, which once you learn how to do that, that's actually really easy. Some wrenches, it has a knife which is well held, it's well secured in there, but it comes out if you need to. It's got a slotted screwdriver. And then why does it come apart? Mainly so that you've got tire removal tools when you need to remove a tire, if ever you need to remove a tire, which actually, I mean, when I'm home, this is what I use. So clip in, flip the tire out. That's what those are for, and very versatile tool that is light enough to carry everywhere you go. This is the Top Peak Alien 2. Goes back in the bag, and you're back on the road. I don't usually clip it, I just put it in my bag. But from the tool, moving on to the bag, which also happens to be Top Peak. I like Top Peak stuff. I'm gonna show you 3 Top Peak items here. The tool, the bag, which if you're gonna commute, you wanna be able to carry, so you don't want a backpack on. Backpack seems easy, but it puts extra weight on your whole body, your butt. You can't evaporate sweat off your back, kind of gross, but you can't evaporate sweat off your back, so obviously it's way less comfortable. So you want the bag to be right over the rear wheel, put all that weight right over the rear wheel, and unclip very easily. This unclips easily, slides right off, clips right back on, very secure while you're riding. Butt comes off easily if you're not. And then also, since you're not always carrying this much gear, this was the gear we took to Cincinnati, so obviously, you know, it's full of gear. These are called Lanoliers, and they fold up, and this bag becomes about 1/3 the size. Very easy to carry around when you're not carrying a lot of gear. So expandable, retractable, comes on and off easily. There's all the way off. Got to find the track there. Slide it on. These things flap around once you break off the clips, but there is a clip that'll clip these things down so they're secure, but when they're full, they're really not a problem, so I just leave it unclipped. Mine broke, and one side broke, I leave it unclipped. Top peak bag, I'm gonna put the bottle number on the post. You do want to ride around with the tube. Here's a tube, I took it out of the box, but it's still in its bag. You can see that it's a Presta valve tube. Goes right in the top peak bag there. And other top peak items, this is a Roadmorph G bike pump. It's a mini bike pump. You can carry it around with you, portable bike pump. Works well. This is only Presta valve. So once you, or actually no, this does Schrader valve also, but a lot easier on Presta valve. Definitely goes up to at least 90 PSI and goes in your bag. You can also clip it to your bike, which I used to do, but then once this thing gets wet, it is definitely not, it can get wet, but it ruins it pretty quick if you get it wet. But it also fits in the bag diagonal like that. It's pretty secure, doesn't rattle around too much, not real heavy. I don't carry it around most of the time, but I did have it with me on the way to Cincinnati in case we had a flat. When you're home, you want to have a full-size bike pump. Doesn't have to be a super high quality one. However, you want the gauge on it. You don't want to be getting out, finding your gauge and getting out your gauge. These gauges work great. So I got this, you can probably guess where I got this thing, about 20 bucks. And it's full size. So if I can find the, pump up the rear tire, ready, set, go. Pit stop. How long does it take? We're at 70, 80, 85, 90. It's pumped up. Take it off and put that Presta valve back together. Last thing, security. I like to be always ready to lock the bike up if I need to. So here, this thing's light, stays right there, always ready to lock the bike up. It's better than nothing. It is not as good as a U-lock, but I can put a U-lock on here if I need to, if I plan on it being outside for a long time. You definitely don't want to keep your bike outside. This thing is 4.5 years old now, about 4 years old now, and still in great shape. If it were outside, it'd be done in a year. The water gets into the chain, that gets into the bearings and everything like that, and it just ruins them. So you do want to keep it inside most of the time. So that's the ultimate commuter bike. It just took me from Cincinnati to Columbus, 200 miles comfortably with some gear on it, and I could take that bag off, empty it out, which I'm about to do right now, and ride it to the store. 2 miles, lock it up, not too worried about it getting stolen, definitely don't want it to, but it doesn't look expensive, it's not the top target, got a lock on it, and ready to go. The most practical bike out there. Go to your local store, get hooked up. Thanks for watching.